All right, welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and hopefully everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. Got to enjoy some time with their family, got to celebrate the independence and greatness of our country, and got to enjoy some of the things there. So, is this the first one that you have celebrated in Columbus, Ohio in quite some time? Or in Central Ohio? Were you at the farm? Were you up in UA partaking in everything? Kind of what was your game plan?
I didn't do anything, Bob. I made my own fireworks. We got some tannerite, blue shot some ARs and blew stuff up, and then there's fireworks that are going all around us, and then simultaneously you have your own fireworks that you're doing within the fireworks. It just keeps the whole thing. Oh, look at that! One. That was nice. Oh, look at that! Oh, that's cool. Oh, just 30 minutes of that, 45 minutes of that. I'm good. Then I went in and then I needed to do a lot of maintenance. So when I have a little bit of downtime, I'm working. It's why gas station ready, Waffle House ready, manual labor work ready. Just the ability to go. And again, there's so much poison ivy, and I'm trying to. My youngest son does not. I love this quality about him. He does not like things to look terrible because he will literally say,
Really?
"This looks terrible, Dad. Let's fix it." Now, the thing is, he'll get a burr, up his butt and want to do some things at like the most inopportune times. But you got to
Yeah.
go with it. And my wife's like, he's asking to help. I'm like, what do you? And I had cut all this stuff down, and I like to finish my projects before I go to another one. Then next thing you know, you got 30 projects going on, and we had a lot of windstorms down there. Trees have fallen over, so I was cutting all them up. Shot like cutting wood, putting it over there by the fire pit. Other stuff needs to be taken somewhere else and discarded or burned. It's like I got all these things, I'm clearing them up. He's like, let's take this little bitty old fence down. I'm like, go grab a sledgehammer, and then I'm finishing my thing. He starts doing it. This is impossible. I said, watch, boom. And then I did it. I showed him how hard you had to swing the sledgehammer. And then I started kicking the fence over, and it worked out great. Now the fence is down. Now your mission today is four-wheelers there, trailers there. I want you to pick it up, put it on there, drive it to the wood pile that we're going to burn, and then we're going to burn. We're going to have a fire and burn it. Like, let's go do those things. So it's great though, because now, like you're a seventh grader. You're going to learn how to weed eat. You're going to learn how to edge. You're going to learn how to use the pressure washer. Like, I'm just going to teach you all these things, man. And guess what? Go do them. And if you get hurt, don't get hurt again the next time. As long as you teach them, it's different. Firearms are different. Now, I do tell them, like, you cannot use the pole saw or a chainsaw without me being there. And especially the chainsaw pole saw, I really don't care while I'm there. Like, I don't have to like watch them because it's a pole saw. Chainsaw, you will not use. That could lead to serious injuries. Okay. So there are some things that you have to be cognizant of. But I remember when I was his age, I had a mower and a weed eater, and I would just roll it down to people's yards and just like do their yards, man. Like, yeah, teach them these skills.
Yeah,
So
I get
many
it.
hands, many hands make light work. That's what I tell them all the time.
It's a very Southern saying, and our offensive coordinator in high
Probably
school.
Amish.
Well, he was from it is Amish, but he was from Georgia, and he would say that all the time when we were doing stuff, and it is true. Like, you put 8 people on a task versus two, like, you get it done lickety split, if you will. We went down. We stayed up here for the 4th of July, like just for that Friday, and then we went down Saturday to our place on the Ohio River.
How
Uh,
was the UA parade? How was the fireworks? You guys sitting out for that? How was that?
I didn't go to the parade. I'm not really a parade guy. I've
I
never
could
really
see
been.
you could have had a Bobby Carpenter float up there with garage beer, throwing
Yeah,
garage beers out to all the dads
I could have
like
done
this
that.
with your tank top. They should do that next time.
Yeah, I could have done
Somebody
that.
on the back of that, like lifting weights, like that guy in that boat doing like overhead standing presses while rockets fly out. Like, that could be your float and throwing out garage beers. Maybe get Jason Kelsey down. Be
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, you know what? There could be some of that with the garage beer and everything. That'd be fun. I worked on. I did my morning show that morning, and we came back. I took a nap while everybody else did that, and then you know I got a little workout in. Or no, I didn't get a workout in because my wife, she went to about 8 different parties like throughout the day and just bounced around. I think you would have had a good time, Schlegs, getting in the environment here in Upper Arlington where everybody just enjoys it. And then Saturday we went down to our place on the Ohio River. I did let some fireworks off up here. We brought the lion's share down there, had some mortars, some boxes, doing some fun stuff. And it's the first time this has happened in quite a while. I think it's the first time it happened to me, and I can't remember how long. But I was lighting off at a box, about 3 or 4 mortar cans that were going through and just hitting them away. And one of the mortar cans, it had been misfired. I'm paying $50 for all these things, for some of this stuff, but they're probably cost about 5 cents to make, and they're made in China. And of course, yeah, you're gonna have some misfires. And one of them, when it hit the tube and you could hear the wick go out and then it didn't shoot out, I was like, this is bad. And so I turned and at least got like my face and upper body away. But I got the canister disappeared, Schlegs. And I don't know if there was like fiberglass and bits of my leg, but I got like some little smattering of what would be shrapnel and some hot, I don't know, gunpowder, whatever the stuff that was shooting out of it. Yeah, it's in the legs. It was a little rough. The good news was I'd been drinking a little bit to take the edge off, so it didn't hurt that bad when I went to bed. And thankfully, no one else really took any of it but me. So that was a win. And then we drove the boat. We were having some issues with the thermometer or the thermostat in there. The gauge wasn't open.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's
a guy. You know a guy.
Yeah, so one of our buddies down there, Josh, he took care of it. It was getting stuck open and the water flow wasn't getting up to the engine. So boom, about 20 minutes, he got it fixed and we were good to go. And so we could keep running that bad boy hard all day long. And kids had fun, did some sweet tubing, and it was really good. We'll have to get you guys down there. I was thinking about that as I was driving back down 23. We had 8 of my daughter's friends there, so it was a very robust deal. So people ask, like, what is it like being a dad? It's like just driving the boat for different people over and over and over again. And my only reprieve is like, hey, when I come back in, I need to make a fresh cocktail to head back out to make sure that I'm having some level of enjoyment, which it is fun, but I'm like, it's a lot of work. And I'm really sore. I'm not even sure why. I've got the gasser test coming up. So I'm like, I got to get some conditioning in. And so Saturday, before I got anything going, after we got down there, I did some work, put the boat in, and then I got a hill that kind of leads back up, close to the river. So it's like, hey, why don't I do like 5 rounds, just thought up a little workout. I'll do like some deep, like incline push-ups going down the hill, do like sets of 25 of those, get some sit-ups in there, some mountain climbers, and then do sprints up and down the hill, like probably about 15 yards, 4 of them each time, and do like 5 rounds of that. And my freaking calves, I was doing it in bare feet. My calves are killing me today. But I feel like there's a good shot. And I've got like 3 weeks left for this gasser test, Legs, and I'm going to need you out there timing me. Okay. And
got it.
And I'm going to need some hype man. I'm going to probably have Beam have to come as my hype man as well, because I'm going to need just a lot of positive juice, and you're going to be the one running the clock. So
are we going to have? Are we going to rely upon their music? Do you need music? Like, you want to bring a speaker?
You know what I did is, I don't know if I brought a speaker. I think I maybe used my headphones last time, and I just wore one earbud so I could hear some music, also hear the time. I mean, they're practicing now. We'll be fields away, but I'm not trying to like interrupt anything. And I think it's going to be the open practice as well, where there'll be people out there again, Buckeyes. So
we can always start on the far side, Bob.
Yeah.
And finish that way. And we can have, I got this little rock form, red, white, and blue speaker for the golf cart. And that's the other thing I did. I took the kids out to Pickaway County Country Club. I don't know if it's a country club or whatever, but I met somebody that knew Beam was there. I was like, dude, tell Beam to get down here, man. Let's play some golf. I'll be ready for you though, Bob.
One of Beam's best friends is like I don't know what position he holds, like the county auditor or something like that. He has some level of like government position, an elected position that he got. It's pretty wild.
This guy's name was Bill, and but Beam, just everybody knows Beam, just amazing.
Yeah, just the Beam machine. So
yeah,
good. And then it was great to see all the guys. Then come Monday, I said you always got to pay the piper. So yesterday, I had no libations, running around, taking the boat out, and part of it's down because we have our little boat slip, and then the boat ramp is probably about half mile away. And so my family can neither back up the trailer nor drive the boat. So that means I have to back down the trailer, down the ramp, run back over, get the boat, and then drive it back. And we left the car over there, so I had to run, put it down, run back, take the boat. I had two trips that I had to make. And so that was like my workout and conditioning. It was like a steeplechase around these hills and over top, jumping over top of stuff in people's backyards to get it all done. But then today it's like you got to pay the piper, get out there, get a workout. Nick had them rocking. They were ready to go. Everybody came back, like looked like they were in pretty good shape. The good news is, Schlegs, the guys that were supposed to be thin were thinner, and the guys that were supposed to be bigger were bigger. And I say that as you as a strength coach know, like Aaron Scott and Bryce West, I told Aaron, you need to eat the food that Bryce shouldn't be eating. Okay. So I'm going to tell him to push away. You're going to have to gobble that up. And today Bryce came up with super juice because I told him I got on his butt before he left. And he looked good. He looked thin. And I go, buddy, you got a body that's just going to want to get you big. All right. Like you can get muscular, but you can also get a little heavy. You're like kind of the fattest fast food I've ever seen. And I'm serious. I mean, that's just what he is.
Yeah,
It's okay.
no.
God made you that way, dude. Like that's part of your strength. Like you're not ever gonna have to be like the dude that's struggling to gain weight. Aaron Scott, on the other hand, is. So Bryce weighed 196, Aaron weighed 195. Like, that is perfect. You guys being that close together is exactly how it should be. Because usually you guys are trying to trend, you're trending like opposite directions. I'm getting on Bryce, eat less. Aaron, eat some more. You got a sandwich in your hand? No, get one. But that's the beauty of it, is you give these guys a week off, and this is maturity of like understanding, keep the main thing the main thing. Yeah, we can get NIL money and go on these vacations and have all this fun and do this stuff. But dude, when you come back, you got like 3 weeks on a sprint to go get this thing ready to go. And the last thing Mick's going to want to deal with is you coming back and being 5 pounds underweight or 5 pounds overweight or more.
You're behind.
Yeah, and you're behind now. Now you've got to spend 3 days trying to catch back up, as opposed to spending those days really leaning in, getting after it, and your body like showed up ready to go. Like me, I've got to spend a couple days getting ready to go again. But then again, I'm also not playing for the Buckeyes this year, so I have a different expectation, and I can probably get it done in a day because I'm just a little tougher at this point, I think, psychologically.
What's amazing, Bob, is you see the posts of these guys and the things that they're wearing and the places that they're going and the things that they're experiencing compared to 20 years ago, same time. Like we're like, where can we all just sleep in one bedroom? Who's going to be on top of the sheets? Who's going to be below the sheets? Who's sleeping on the couch? How many can we actually fit in this room and go, we'll all chip in our money. Hey, I got $250 saved. How much you got? I got 175. Well, I got 3. Okay, let's just put them all together and then let's go have a good time compared to now. But you're spot on, Bob. The way it was funny, I was at Luciana Ramsey, Luch and Tom. They own the Berwick, great people. We went over to their house for dinner, and my wife looked at me and the plate of food that I had, and she was like, are you starving? Like what? I was like, I am hungry. I have been doing nothing but manual labor, and I am eating all these risotto balls. I don't even know what they are, but guess what? I pounded a baker's dozen before it even started, right? I saturated with some marinara sauce, done. They gave me this, I don't know what it was, but she told me it was good for eye health. I was like, give me 3 helpings of that. Even though I have had LASIK and PRK, I could always be better. The noodles, the meatballs, the salad, the green beans was like, more than 1 serving, please. And I did that. And yeah, guess what? Today, Monday, I feel amazing. I haven't worked out yet today. I'm going to work out. It's going to be a great workout.
That'll be good. A lot of sweat coming through there, the cured meats, the oils, all those good things coming back out of you. It's funny because I've got a story. You were not a part of it because you would go back home when we would get some time off at Ohio State, and we would stay up here. And it's amazing that you think about this. And I don't think we have any pictures of it. I'm trying to think like how it went down though. But I'll get it to you when we went up to Put in Bay. A lot of fun, but not exactly the best situation ever to sleep in. That's like when we went to Vegas. You didn't do that either, but we slept. AJ and Mangold slept in a bed, and me and Doug slept in a bed, full like queen beds, two huge dudes. And that was like, so that way we could each pay like $60. I think the room, I don't know, was like 200 some dollars. We each paid like $60 a night for 3 nights, and that was it. And then we'd rotate taking naps during the day, coming back up there when you could actually get some real sleep and not be sleeping next to another man laying in your bed. But I've got another little day that we kind of stumbled into on this during this time of the year that we'll talk about here next. But first, I want to tell you about parents and athletes. Protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes and designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber that they 3D print that bad boy just to your liking to fit you, which means more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. More of the Bobby Carpenter Show coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Welcome back into the show, and I just love this, Schleiks. People come to my office, and I don't mind them coming in here, and then I always keep a pen on my desk, and now it's gone. So I like to write things down that come up, notes of different things in mind. We got a lot of stuff to get to as well today. There's
so many,
a lot of good things, a lot of good nuggets of how it could potentially look and what could potentially be happening. But I do want to tell this. I think it was – is it Memorial Day weekend, I want to say. I don't think it was Christmas in July. I think it was maybe Memorial Day weekend. And our guy Schlegs, Brandon Schnicker, Sandusky, Perkins, Ohio. Sandusky went to Perkins High School. How do we know this? Well, Trust What I Was take the name test, give us a sheet every year of 105 guys. There would be all the numbers of the players. You'd have to put in their name, their hometown, and their high school. And then depending on how you scored on that, you would ultimately have more or less conditioning to do. And you would do it with a pair, seniors with freshmen, and then middle guys would just pair up and let them go. They'd grade you into quadrants, and that's how he kind of figured it out. So he had a friend up there, and this is probably beyond the statute of limitations. Like, people were talking about guys getting hooked up. I never got a dime when I was at Ohio State. But Sticker's like, hey, one of my high school buddies, his dad owns a lot of the hotels out there in Put-in Bay. You guys should come up. You can come up for a couple days, and he'll get you a room, not for free, but at like the normal rate, not the Memorial Day weekend rate. And I'm trying to think. I know that AJ and I rode up. It was with his girlfriend at the time. Courtney came with us, as Courtney came too. I think there are other people in the room though, and we had a lot of folks in the room. I remember thinking, like, any fornication that's going to have to be done is going to have to be done in the bathroom here, just given the fact that it's a very close proximity and there's a lot of things ultimately going on. But we went up there, and I still think the room was a couple $100 a night, and we're all like breaking it down and splitting it. And then we went around to all these bars, and everything was so expensive. Now, thankfully, people were buying us some beers and letting us hang out a little bit. But I mean, I thought that was, I think we only did it. Did we do 2 nights? Maybe just 1. I don't remember. But thinking like that was probably the coolest thing that I had done to that point in my life, as far as like an adult thing, going out and pretending like I had a little money, even though we didn't. Like, that was kind of the best thing we could do. But thinking like, okay, I'm going into my senior year now. In 6 months, hopefully I'll be able to like make some money and do some fun things. But we went up there and hung around Put-in Bay, and like that was the vacation that we got. Not going to, the Keys or going to Cabo or wherever the heck everybody went last week.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Times have changed, man. 20 years. A little money in their pocket allows you to do a lot of things. But those are good times, though, man.
Well,
That's what we call hashtag making memories.
it is, because it forces you to try to find some things out. Like when you're staying in a room with multiple other people, like, hey, I've got my now wife with me, girl. Like, how strong is my game? Like, to be able to try to persuade her into doing something here, probably in the bathroom. Like, and that's going to be the only locale that anything was going to go down.
Yes.
That said, listen, it challenges you, Schlegs. Like
You got to be creative.
You have to be
Got to use
creative.
the other side of the brain.
Absolutely. But going up there was a lot of fun. Getting in all those warm pools where people just sitting in there peeing in them all day. I was like, this is gross. But the more you drink it, that's why I sat there and I looked. We went back probably about 10 years ago. It was right when I got done playing, maybe 12. And yeah, it would have been about 12 because our friend was pregnant and she has twins now that are in 4th grade. So it was probably about 12 years ago. And we sat there and looked, and she wasn't drinking obviously she was pregnant. And we looked at the pool and I'm like, all those people have been in there for at least 2 hours and I have not seen a single person move. And the amount of, they had a swim up bar, so no one's getting out. It's just right there for you. Like, this is something, Schleichs. Really something.
Yeah.
A lot of ammonia in there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Clorox, just shock it. Just shock it. It's all good. It's all good. It's all healthy.
But, Schleichs, we're talking about environments, okay? Environments and how great Ohio Stadium was at the Tennessee game.
Yep.
And were you there for that, or you just watched on TV?
No, I was not. I watched it on TV.
Yeah, so it was unbelievable. And I don't know if you could kind of feel it coming through the screen.
I could.
But I always like see this. And like last year, I was privileged enough. I got to go to a couple of different games: Oklahoma, Alabama. I was at Georgia, Tennessee. Went to an LSU game, UCLA, early in the season, which it was like a 3:30. They were all complaining, maybe 3:30. So they're complaining how early it was. It was hot and it wasn't a great environment. But like Georgia was awesome when they played Tennessee at night, and I'm like looking around, seeing how great it is with everything. And then I saw this little nugget come through, Schleichs, and I know that you're a big fan of the Soldier Boy, and I just like, this is the environment, Pat. If we can pull this up, of like what I think that you want to create, to where like you have full interaction of students, of fans, alumni, everybody there, to where you're creating a raucous environment. Evening helps with that, obviously, but then the structure of it. I know Ross is working, trying to get there and get something like this. And like, so you want to play some music and have some things and themes, and you got to have a mix of stuff, Schleichs. You have to have stuff for people that are a little older in life. You have to have some things for people that are a little younger in life. You want to get some things to get the players going. But I saw this little nugget. I'm watching, and they've got Gary Danielson and who was on the call with him? Oh my gosh, I can't think of his darn name. Danielson and Brad Nessler. Yeah, Pat. So throw this up, and this was unbelievable watching this. And I saw this thing this morning. I'm like, it kind of got me going a little bit when I was having to drag myself off the mat to get rolling. But just everything that they had going on, all the juice that's flowing there, Schleichs, and here it is. As you got a little bit. So let's give it a little sound, and then you got No Sean Marino. That's how long ago this was, Schleichs. And they had the whole stinking crowd.
That's so much fun.
Look at this.
That's you guys should see Vern in the box up here. He's doing the same thing.
Oh, it's Lundqvist.
He was doing all this stuff. Well, the jitterbug. Isn't that what they're doing? I don't think so. No? I don't think so. Oh, Vern, Joe, he was doing. Don't ever let him tell you he wasn't doing it. He was bouncing over here.
I'm the son of a preacher man, and I just got into it.
That's amazing. And so it was even before Nessler, it was Vern Lundqvist up there. Schleichs. That's what we need, is some juice like that, where you can get
those guys bouncing around, man. Our kickoff, ready to go.
Yeah.
Soldier Boy.
Now, hopefully that translated to a win. You don't want to be all hyped up and go out there and get your butt kicked, but that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, preparation stops when the foot hits the ball, Bob. But again, it's the environment. Guys like it. It's at home. You can again, that's the thing. You can do whatever you want to do at the house. That's why I like living at the farm. If I want to go take a leak by the barn, I can. I want to go set up some traps for some critters, I can. I want to go shoot guns and blow up some stuff, I can. Hey, it's your home. It's your home turf. Bring out whoever you want. It's Ohio State. Make it frothy. I want the fans foaming at the mouth, like wanting to go run down on kickoff. Like that's what you want. You got to create that environment by the way you play, and also some of the aesthetics and the juice that you pump in there.
Absolutely. Getting the juicy, getting it rolling. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Some recruiting news of things that happened. And it was always important to say if you could build a fence around the state of Ohio and keep the in-state talent in, you'd be in a pretty good spot. Now I supplement some guys nationally and things work out. The last thing you want to see happen is when guys leave the state. Well, that was avoided here this week. We'll give you the details coming up next. Welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show. And Schleichs, Cleveland Glenville, long been a pipeline for Ohio State. And actually, I don't even think he's from Glenville. I know he's just from Cleveland. But a big flip coming over with Jameer, a.k.a. JJ Perez, flipping from Florida, where he had been committed for a minute, for a couple months, flips over the 2026 defensive lineman, choosing a 6'4", 350, a beefy dude, staying in Ohio, and put out there the best, and he said the best in Ohio, stay in Ohio. And people were talking about Larry Johnson, as he lost his fastball, as he's getting a little bit older. He is from Glenville. Thank you, Pat, for that. I thought he was. And developing that pipeline. But great to see this, and especially that position group where they're a little light right now. They're getting beefed up, and they're doing so with guys in state. And Larry's doing a great job of getting that momentum going again.
Well, reason I wanted us to talk about this is everybody's talking about Larry Johnson and not being able to add value. He's been here since 2015. So
hold on, Schleichs, does he have to go out there like Ric Flair? Like I have to sit here and listen to some screaming my name.
That's what we do, Bob. Like honestly, I think that there's
who is we? Not don't put me in that category.
No. That's why you and I articulate like the reality of the situation, as opposed to I would like to think probably the AYOs that have stuff, which is fine. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. But let's look at Larry. Larry in 11 seasons has had 20 draft picks at the defensive line position. In the 2025 draft, you had 4 guys get drafted, one of which was Tyleik Williams, a first-round nose guard 3 technique, Bob. Like, how hard is that to go in the first round? And Tyleik is that type of guy. And he did. And then you had JT go in the second. You had Jack, I believe, go in the 4th. And you had Ty Hamilton go in the 5th. So your 4 starting senior defensive linemen all were drafted in the NFL. He's had 20 to date. Larry develops dudes. Okay. And that's really the premise of this. Now, this recruit, regardless of what people have as the numbers, and I say that all the time, like I believe James Laurinaitis was a 2 or a 3 star. I had 0 stars, right? Yourself and AJ. I did. I had a couple of arrest warrants that probably stars of that nature. But like the dude is doing what he does. And I believe that the hardest thing too is you came from a system, and he's been there with a multitude of defensive coordinators, from Fick to Kerry Combs and Chris Ash to, who's the one after before Noel? Then you had Knowles. Now you have Matt Patricia.
You had Shiano for a minute.
Shiano in there too. Like that's a lot. And that's a lot of adapting to like kind of what you do and those guys that you recruited and where they fit and how they want to utilize and predicate upon the scheme. But again, it goes back. Larry's had 20 draft picks over the last 11 years at Ohio State. He does a phenomenal job of developing his guys. All of his guys care about Larry. And like I always look at this from a coaching perspective, right? Anywhere I've ever worked, if you're gone, do guys miss you? Do they ask about you? Where is so and so today? Larry's that type of guy, man. Where's Coach Jay? Like, and he is fanatical about thinking how he can develop every single one of them. So it's just good. Not that this kid flipped it again. People have to, well, it's only until they're fully committed and they sign the letter. We all get that, but he has been doing a really good job. And I would say this class has done really well. The coaches have done a really, really good job about selling Ohio State the right way to the athletes that we got coming in. You don't see us throwing wads of cash out there, being beholden to people that have to develop, especially in the offense and defensive line, through a large sum of money. They have their system. Again, they just won a national championship. So I'm going to continually back what Ryan Day and Mark Pantone do from a recruiting standpoint, because they just validated by winning a national championship through primarily dudes that were developed in the building.
That's very, very well articulated, Schleiks.
Thanks.
I mean, that was good. It's you start talking about recruiting, you start diving into the dollars and the NIL, and those things do matter. But if that's the primary focus, then the easy cut, that'll be the primary reason people leave too. And so developing those relationships is key. And now the money, it's fairly even at a lot of places. I mean, there's some of the mid-tier schools maybe will offer more to certain guys that they think they can get, because the dollars for the bigger schools, they've already allocated them to everybody, and they're allocating them to older guys. But that makes it even more relationship based, to where if it's kind of even again, then you've got to make certain that people coming there, they feel like they can be developed. They feel like they have that strong connection, that relationship with you. And it was interesting. I don't know if I threw this in the chat or not, but I saw something. Did you see, Slags, where Urban said that somebody had asked him to be a GM at one of their schools?
That sounds terrible. No, I did not see that clip. I did not see that clip. Well, I saw the clip where he was talking about Fick and why he liked Fick as a D coordinator. I did see that one. I didn't see that somebody would want him to be that. I can only imagine how terrible. Hey, best was, I saw the clip of recruiting at Florida with Urban talking to linebackers. It was like, it was awesome. Like that clip, that made me chuckle.
So they asked him about doing it. He's like, well, what's the job description? Because I don't think Urban's like a GM for college, and he's been out. It's wild. So this will be Ryan's 8th year. He will have been at Ohio State as a head coach longer than Urban Meyer, assuming he makes it to the start of this season, which I always like to clarify that. Who knows what the heck can always happen in life, but he will have been here longer than Urban Meyer. And so Urban, they asked, we said, what's the job description? And then I talked to recruits, because people thought, he's a great recruiter. Talk to recruits, have conversations, talk to them about the NIL, like their money, their marketing stuff. And at that point, Urban's like, you lost me then. Like, not that I really wanted to do this anyway, but his statement that he always said, I'd rather step on a rusty nail than do that. As far as like just talking about the business element of all of that. Mark Pantone does a great job of it, because you have to be honest and forthright about it, but it's something that's so new, and it's something that older coaches, they've never had to do that before. So it's just so foreign for them that there's an uncomfortability about it.
Oh man, you guys in this chat, he's down to 330 now. So they put GLP-1s. I was like, hey, high school kid ain't doing that. It's kind of like the same thing that you were talking about earlier, Bob. Do I actually need to fill the plate, or should I just have actual healthy portions, And again, Mick will do a great job with this guy, but you're right. The job description of what is required from a GM, and not necessarily coddling, but the atmosphere when you have somebody that's longer in the tooth, like an Urban Meyer, to have to upsell something. The hardest thing is you have to upsell something that you're already so passionate about and know that it works to people that just have no clue. The only clue they got are by people that are trying to make money off of them. You ever think about that, guys? The people that are helping these people make these decisions are agents who probably have never played college football and are only about, hey, how can I get the best NIL lucrative deal for these guys right now out of high school so that I can make money, sustain that relationships. So if they do go pro, I can make more money on them for a longer time, right? What does that KPI look for me? I'm going to go get them the best deal possible, not necessarily the best fit possible. So it's like now you have to sell all these people, and then like, hey, I'm gonna need a little bit of something to make this to close this deal. And you're just like, what? Like this is the best place for you. Look at what we've done. That's a hard pill to swallow, or a hard job description that you want to rally around every single day to get up and go to work.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you're doing it with the people you want to. I mean, it's just
What you do, where you do it, and who you do it with. And I
There
would
you
say
go.
by the means in which you want to do it.
By the means in which you want to do it, Schlegs. There you go. I want to tell you about our friends over at Backer. We talk about them a lot. The premium new Buckeye fan gear, it's bckr.com. Go check them out. Founded to make better quality fan gear for the cold gear, the windbreakers, the rain gear, all that stuff. They've got the hats that you want. They're working on a fitted hat. They've got a bucket hat that they're working on too that should be here prototyping very soon. But it's like the high-end skiing, fishing, golfing gear that you love to have that has all the features, the whatchamacallit, the doodads, all the things that Schlegs loves to have with his stuff. So go to backer.com, bckr.com, and be sure if when you order there, use promo code all caps Bobby, you get free expedited shipping, and a portion of this goes back to the NIL, the Ohio State student athletes, for them. So that's Backer, bckr.com. Go check them out. And we've got some of our former student athletes giving back, Schlegs. Two of the great dudes that you're going to love. We'll talk about what they're doing for the kids coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. And our headlines are brought to you by our friends over at Lake Spur Marketing. They've got over 100 years of experience. So they're going to use that to help choose the marketing strategies, tools, and products that are going to be right just for your business. It's not a blank slate, not some blank template they throw out there for everybody. They tailor them to your needs. They're going to shield you from all cold callers trying to pitch you the latest and greatest with all their new products. They're going to leave the marketing to them so they can help grow your business. And then you can do what you do best, run your business. Lake Spur Marketing will eliminate the waste so you can get the most out of your budget and have the most success with that marketing budget. Trust the experts. Trust Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in their partners. Visit lakespurmarketing.com today, Schlegs. And our guys, G. Scott and Travion Henderson, two great dudes, man. Saw them doing this. It was the headline was Smiles and Bibles, part of the Walk Foundation, putting on a youth camp up in Mansfield, Ohio. They've got the orange on for the Mansfield. I believe they're the Tigers up there, which is pretty sweet. And, you just see them giving back. I saw Trey today in the building. He's getting ready to head to Virginia. He's been here for about a week as part of this. But just great to see these guys doing some good things and, supporting the kids and giving back to the state of Ohio.
I tell you what, man, I think a lot of these young men that have been drafted that have come back that want to do stuff, CJ does a lot like this, but it just goes back to the type of young people that they are. And they made an impact while being a Buckeye, and they continue to come back and serve the great state of Ohio that way, regardless of how long ago Woody Hayes is. You pay it forward and you win with people and you pay it forward. And that's what they're doing. And that is embodied at Ohio State through now Ryan Day. And it's great to see these guys do it.
Yeah. And those are two of the good dudes that really, we've talked about it a lot and we've watched these guys develop and, and much has been made about, this team last year, but it's going to be a team that's going to be remembered for a long time because of what their journey, what their story looked like.
Yep.
And, was 2022 Schlegs. You get G. Scott gets the headbutt. He's out on the field against Michigan. one of the great, and he's honestly one of the great dudes on the team. And you saw Trey this year having a huge mistake against Texas, kind of a similar situation, gets a 15-yarder. And both of those guys, as you get to know them, they're incredible men of faith. They're awesome young people. And that's why when people make mistakes, man, you lean into them and you try to figure out how can we move forward in an intelligent way. How can we get better? What can we do to help serve you? And so those guys, they were given those second opportunities. They were given second chances, ultimately make the most of them, and their story turns out to be fantastic. And then with that, to whom much is given, much is required. And now they're going out there trying to support the youth and like impact them in a positive way. And I keep trying to pour into those guys because I go, man, you guys make this stuff cool. Like all of the things that you are about in life that you represent, you make that like cool for kids in the state of Ohio, really the country, but definitely in the state to see you stand on all these things and be an authentic human that's doing such positive things and giving back and trying to create those real connections.
Yeah, I mean, you said all that. That was beautiful, Bob. And then Mike's on here on the group chat saying, "Let's get more of those college party pics." He said it was amazing. So true.
Easy, Mike. I can't dump them all. I tell these guys all the time. I wish that I was as a mature young man when I was in college as you were. I do.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I was a better role model to like the kids who were growing up behind me. Like I that's a fail, and I can't go back and do anything about it. I can just hype you guys up and support you and say, keep being a better person. Be an example for my kids.
Well, you know what though? You walked right into a good point. 2nd and 7 just had I think they're like 20th, might have been more than that. They might be 25 years long in the tooth on this, and they just had another youth football camp of which we all did when we were playing there. Bob, obviously, our affinity for Ryan Miller, but also Luke, Luke Fickle and Mike Vrabel. They just had a youth camp that's been going on for 20-something years here in Central Ohio. And a lot of our guys partake into that. Lives are changed. But that's kind of the point, man. Like, we know what it means to be an Ohio State Buckeye. And it's that conversation I had last week when I was talking about Brandon and we're doing an autograph signing, and I just gave him a dip, and we just sat there and talked shop for an hour. He thought that was the coolest thing 20 years later. And it was cool. I was like, do you remember what kind it was? Like, I think it was Copenhagen Snuff. I'm like, exactly. It was the best. So those are good things. We got a lot of great people, man, and that's what makes Ohio State so special. People come back, not even from here, man. Like, one's from Virginia, one's from Washington, and they come back and they're in Mansfield, Ohio, throwing a football camp on, man. Awesome.
Yeah, Mike. You can't just give all the picks away right away, man. I found a couple of those. There's a few other treasure troves that I have of some other things. So we'll. And by the way, like my wife, if she ever finds those, she'll probably throw them away. I gotta like hide them back in my nightstand again, in there. So a lot of fun. We'll get some more of that stuff. It'll be a good time. But we want to focus on the positivity of those young men. And now we're gonna answer some of your questions. We've got so stuff is rolling here. In 2 weeks, we've got Big Ten Media Days coming up. We got probably Bill Bender on tomorrow. I got to confirm with him. But what's he going to ask? Big 12 is today. Big 10 is in 2 weeks. Ohio State's going to be kicking it off. We'll answer some of your questions here coming up next.
Create it, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, Slugs, now it's time for our Tailgate Talk, brought to you by our friends over at Real Truck, where we get to answer some of your questions. And, I mean, you've been active and live in the chat here with everything going on. What are the folks talking about today?
They're talking about, Bob, that there's definitely ones of Four Kegs and Brothers and the true nightlife of downtown, and there's definitely pics somewhere floating around, stories about that. Everybody's just excited about football, man. I don't
two
know.
weeks, 2 weeks for media days. Like,
Yeah,
you know where they are this year, Slikes? They used to always be like Chicago or Indy, I think. You know
here
where
I'll
they're at
throw
this
I'll
year?
throw I'll throw this out to you, man, because like somebody was like, "Do you really have to upsell Ohio State in today's deal?" And I said, "Yes, you do, because they just don't know what all the things are." It's like you have all these different businesses that are selling the same thing. What separates Ohio State apart? I want you to answer that question, Bob. And then somebody else said, "Culture equals everything," and I 100% agree with that. But it's culture and development of the whole man, right? Like that's what we got to always be about. They say developed here, that has to mean something. So, what do you think are those things that differentiate Ohio State comparative to? And there was a great group chat, message board chat about USC, Bob. That's in our Word
We'll
doc.
get that for
Um,
tomorrow.
I
Yeah.
know, but like, what are the things that you think separate Ohio State compared to everybody else in the national landscape?
You know, I go and I talk to them and do some of the recruiting stuff with school. And so, like, you look at the different prongs of it, and there's the academic piece, which how good of a school this is now, which wasn't always the case. The last 20 years, the academic element of Ohio State's raised its profile. And with that, I told them they graduate, 12, 15,000 students a year. So just by the sheer volume, there's a lot of people in a lot of important positions across the country, not just in the state, but when you want jobs and connections. Plus, like, look at the guys you're playing with. I go, man, there's a lot of my teammates who, we've done business stuff together. We've done different opportunities. You and I doing this, like age, like all these different things. The guys are willing to help out their teammates, whatever they need. Text Maurice, say, you want to come on? Boom. Maurice is coming on. Like all of our guys that have that connectivity. And then it spans generationally when you start talking about not just the linear, the width, but the depth, like with Joshua Perry, guys that are older than us, Ryan Miller, Joey Galloway, Vrabes, Fick, the guys that are 10 years younger. And now these guys are 20 years younger. And so like that connectivity, the academics, and then the type of guys that you have there. So
Yeah,
these are the people you're going to spend 3, 4, 5 years with. And are they going to help sharpen you the way that you need to be? Are you going to sharpen them? Because that's part of the reason. Tell me why I was able to have this type of some of the success that I did is the guys that I was with, you, AJ, Nate, Sally, dudes that we were going against every day in practice, training against, working with. They make you better. They make you really better. I mean, I had to train AJ and I trained with Maurice when we were our freshman year. Maurice is a powerhouse, man. Like I was like not wanting to embarrass myself with him. And so that's the element that you have with that. And then everybody kind of pulling in the same direction. And how are we
yeah,
developing you as a man? Like, are you going to be someone who understands how to do the right things and to lean into all that moving forward? And so I think that kind of whole part of it, and look at the families, the players of their parents, and you can kind of just get a sense how it just feels different. And it's a very, very unique situation. Thanks for letting me talk a little bit about that. If you have
yeah.
anything else to add, you can add them in your parting thoughts when we get back.
Good.
All right, final segment of the program, Schlaze. Give us your parting thoughts.
Yeah, this will be really brief. And I think one thing too, having young people going off to college is they've always been with their parents. And the one thing that I really liked on those recruiting weekends that they had at Ohio State, they had a team lift, and parents and athletes got to see how competitive and intense the workouts are. Even though when you have the smaller groups, I think the level is just up a little bit more. As far as especially being able to see the intentionality and the depth of which Mick and the staff goes to make sure that they're all enhanced individually
Mm.
while by units. Um, but the thing that I look at is who's going to hold my son, my daughter accountable when I'm not there. And that's what I love. Like the story of when we had, guys that just transferred in and they were late for something and they had to go pack up their stuff and exit the building and they did not work out and their coach had to meet them on Saturday morning to make up that lift. That's accountability. And it's not just from the coach, it's also from the unit. Like who's developing the whole young man to be able to handle the success should they get it? It's not even guaranteed, but who's preparing them for the accountability? Because in the league, they just find you. They just fine you or they cut
Yeah.
you. That's it. That's the reality of the situation. So who's going to do that and have that type of relationship when I or the mom is no longer there? And that's what I love about
Who's
Ohio
going to
State.
yell at Bryce West to quit eating so much food and for Aaron Scott to eat more? Me. That's
Right.
who's going to do it.
Yeah,
Second
you,
everybody else. Everybody. That's it. I care about your kids the same way I care about all of my teammates, man. The way that I played. So, we played together. Like all I want is for them to be as good as they can be and be great human beings. That's it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I have Bill Bender with us. So stay locked in here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.